Aquarius, Sun and Rising. Welcome to your October 2023 Astro Update. It's Raina here. I've been recording a few of these readings outside, and you can probably hear there's like a plane, probably like a single engine plane. That's why it's so loud overhead. And this came about just because I happen to be outside, and I thought, might as well, so that I can get these done in a timely manner. But excuse any noises that are external. So, October, what's October like? Well, first of all, for all of us, this is eclipse season. So this is a time of intensity in terms of the potential for sudden shifts. And for you, one of the big stories here is that Pluto is turning direct in your 12th house in Capricorn, where it has been since the beginning of May. So if you have experienced, Pluto isn't a personal planet. So we look to the house that it's transiting for the effects that it can give us. And because it stays in one place for so long, it only stands to reason that this is going to be a time of great introspection when Pluto is retrograding. So this is really, when Pluto is in the 12th house retrograding, anything that you have experienced on the negative side of life, like patterns that you have experienced, are going to be dealt with or looked at, hopefully, in a way that you're putting yourself into the equation of like, what am I doing, rather than looking to the outer world. Because the 12th house can be a place of victimization. People who have planets in the 12th house, they may have multiple planets there, tend to have this past life. I don't know if I want to say karma, although the 12th house is a karmic house, but they tend to have a lot of past life unfinished business that they are still playing out. And because of that, it can lead to this feeling of not being in control of one's own destiny. That to me is the ultimate meaning of victimization, of feeling like life is happening to you rather than you engaging with life and making certain choices that lead to other choices. So this kind of thing can come about and affect you in particular ways that I'm talking about. This particular transit may have allowed you to see very clearly how you are getting in your own way, especially when the retrograde has occurred. When Pluto goes direct on the 10th, there is this feeling of you being able to face the shadow more confidently, because you're not hiding from yourself emotionally. I think that Aquarius people tend to do this. And, look at your moon sign. If your moon sign is in water, you may have more emotional intelligence, but you still may fear your emotions, especially the ones that rile you up, that make you upset, angry, scared, sad. So on the 4th of the month, let's start from the beginning, Mercury goes into fellow air sign Libra. And this is going to be this is a trine, very nice. And it's the 9th house, which deals with expansive things. And this is a very harmonious angle for you, not only because it forms a trine, which is the most harmonious angle, but also because of what this house represents. This is Sagittarius's domain, and you share a lot in common with Sag in terms of the love of freedom and the love of being broad-minded. So Mercury in the 9th can have something to do with academia. I'm sure there are plenty of Aquarians who go into the institutions of higher learning. There's that plane again. I wonder if I'm in a flight pattern. But I was going to joke and say institution, to be institutionalized in colleges, because sometimes that can be crazy making if you really are this nonconformist trying to shake things up, and all they want to do is embrace the status quo. So you might be too controversial for some colleges. Certainly some professors have gotten censored from time to time for whatever reason, probably sharing their views, which probably isn't such a great idea, but it is supposed to be an institution of higher learning and higher thought. But yeah, I am in a flight pattern, so I apologize. Mercury can be those details that are needed with travel or the paperwork and stuff like that. So it could be like documents such as passports and things like that. If you're planning on traveling, this is going to be a better time because we've gotten past the Mercury retrograde, and sometimes all the little details, those can be the things that make it harder to travel smoothly. But yeah, anything to do even with if you're a student and you're trying to enroll. Now, of course, October, usually it's September when the colleges begin, but with all of the different ways that people are studying these days, or training, who knows, maybe there's open enrollment all the time, but there's something going on with you, and it could even be like learning abroad, studying a language. On the 8th, Venus goes into Virgo, and for you, this is the 8th house, and there's a possibility this has some kind of connection to shared resources, money. That's what the 8th house represents, but Venus can be money, so you might be receiving inheritances and things of that nature. Venus in the 8th house can really bring relationships to a whole new level of intimacy and depth. So if you have someone that you have committed to, I would say especially like the newly married, newly moved in with, cohabitating. This is about bearing your soul with a partner and discovering, their deepest, darkest secrets, their shadow, and unveiling your own. And that's something that I personally feel is hard to do unless you are under the same roof, because it's easy to, put your best self forward when you're just kind of dating and not together all the time. So for some of you, this is a new discovery. It might be scary. It might be something that you never thought that you would experience, but you're embracing it. And I think because Pluto is in the 12th, that certainly helps, because Pluto is one of the rulers of Scorpio. So it really is about that depth and that transformation from the shadow. Speaking of Scorpio, well, like I said, Pluto goes direct on the 10th, and then on the 12th, Mars goes into Scorpio. So Scorpio is a fixed sign, so therefore it's going to hit one of your angular houses, because it's this fixed sign before you. This is going to be the 10th house of career. So Mars in the 10th can really ramp up your ambition for outer signs of success. So that's as it pertains to career matters. So sometimes when these kinds of things happen, it can also lead to a person getting aggressive, getting too ambitious, and therefore stepping on the toes of authority figures, because the 10th house is also authority figures besides your career. So those authority figures, maybe you're doing this because you want to become the boss. And so you're going to try to step all over your competition. Well, be careful about that, because there might be pushback, and plus you don't want to be that kind of person. But I don't know how many Aquarians really are like that. I think it would take more than Aquarius to make somebody like that. But yeah, so this could be a time when you're really busy with career matters. On the 14th, we have a solar eclipse at 21 degrees of Libra. So that's the first one in this pair of eclipses with Aries. And that is hitting that 9th house. So that really indicates in the next year, there could be a theme of traveling a long distance and having opportunities for travel. Of course, that's just one possibility. It all depends on what you've been wanting to do. Some of you may have been wanting to travel and you have been prevented from doing so. Certainly in the last few years, that has been the case for some people. But now it's like all systems are go. This can also be opportunities in academia. This can be opportunities with spiritual studies or spiritual careers. So a yoga teacher who travels to exotic places to teach yoga, that's, the thing that's very trendy nowadays. But if you think about it, it really makes a lot of sense, because it's something that is very, it's like it's win-win. You get to make money, but you also get to be in these beautiful locations. So, so just see where you are expanded in the next year or so. I don't know when the eclipses will stop. I know that the eclipses last for 18 months, and we already had one in April in Aries, so I'm assuming it will go until sometime next year, probably next fall. On the 22nd, Mercury goes into Scorpio, so now we have this energy really gathering steam in the 10th house. We have the sun going the next day on the 23rd, the sun going into Scorpio, and these placements, so how many are there? So we have Mars, Mercury, and the sun in the 10th house. Now, you had a lunar eclipse here back in May, and that may have, produced some kind of an effect. Maybe having something to do with letting go of a profession that you had for quite a while, or actually, I said letting go, but it may have been taken from you. I don't like to use the term taken from you, because it sounds like a loss, and it might have been a gain in a certain way, because you might have, you might be better off since it has gone away, but perhaps it doesn't feel that way. That's always a possibility. But in any case, this can be a time when you really feel like you want to advance. Especially, I would say, if you did have to shift gears, and maybe you're in a new field and you feel like you have to prove yourself, this can be a great time for that. On the 28th, we have a lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Taurus. So, This is another fixed sign, and this is actually the opposite sign of Scorpio. So that would leave you with the fourth house of home and family. However, depending on your degree, this may actually fall in your third house. So if it's in your fourth house, this could be like a sudden ending to your, I'm going to actually read it like that for everyone, that this is a sudden ending for you in terms of your domestic situation. So, Aquarius is a fixed sign, and even if you're not happy with where you live currently, you may still feel like you want to hold on to it because you don't want the change. And so again, like, eclipses can do, they can make the change for you, whether you like it or not. And perhaps for some of you, this is going to be the ending of where you live. And if you have the grace to do so, you can let go without feeling this sense of loss. And that's not easy to do, because if an outer event occurs, which kind of forces your hand, it may feel like you're out of control. And that may be one of the worst feelings that you have, that you can feel, especially a fixed sign. So this is where our faith comes in, our spiritual understanding. When we talk about law of attraction, we're talking about manifesting our destiny, manifesting what we want, but we know at the same time that we can't necessarily control everything around us. We can only control our own choices, our own actions. And this is why we say co-creating with the universe, because there is some other factor involved. The bottom line is non-attachment, I think. If you are never attached to anything, then if it's taken from you or somehow altered, you can roll with the punches, but roll with the change is a lot easier, a lot smoother. So there may be some changes on your home front. If you have put your house on the market for 2 years and it hasn't, sold, maybe this will be the time. But also, the fourth house of home and family is the house of your childhood. So you may have an epiphany about something from your past. Again, you have Pluto direct in the 12th house, which has also helped you to kind of excavate these difficult emotions that were buried even. And by the way, both the 12th and the 4th houses, as well as the 8th house, are all water houses. So they are all dealing with emotions. So this can be a time to for old childhood wounds to be eclipsed, to be taken out, almost as if they never happened in the first place. So that can be very freeing. Okay, that's what I have for you, Aquarius. Sounds pretty intense, but probably you'll emerge lighter, I'm thinking. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, I'm promoting my double readings, like my deep dive reading, double astrology, hour of natal chart analysis, hour of transits for the upcoming 12 months for a special price, compared to buying those readings separately on my site. And I actually have one where I also throw in a full-length tarot reading called The Whole Enchilada. Whoops. So you can find out more information about that package deal as well as my other ones and my standalone readings at the link below. I'm at RainaMoonAstrology.com. Thank you for listening. Bye.